Hey, hi, this is Herb. Remember me? A year ago, we were right here in the bunker doing a recording for Stereophile. And same bunker, same hallway, different speakers. Today, we're going to look at and listen to a pair of speakers from Joseph Audio. And these speakers I'm writing about as we speak, no pun intended. And we're going to make a recording using the Sennheiser Ambio binaural headphones, and you're going to hear what I heard while I was working on this review. You will hear the records I used in the review today in the home. Let's start with these speakers, which are too shiny for Herb, and they're the most expensive speakers I've ever reviewed. They might be the most expensive speakers I've ever actually had in the bunker. And they're called the Pulsar by Joseph Audio. They were reviewed initially by Michael Fremer, and what I'm doing is I'm writing a follow-up on them. And that follow-up came partly because I just kept hearing Joseph speakers at every show and going, I need to listen to these at home in my own environment. They always seemed really quiet. And I'll talk to you a little bit about quietness in speakers as opposed to noisiness. Speakers have a sound. And then I read Michael's review and I said, I think I should do a follow-up on this, like many of my follow-ups, to learn what these sound like. Because again, these are out of my price range. They're way too shiny for Herb. They even have metal cones. Herb doesn't review things very often with metal cones. They're so out of my comfort zone. I wanted to see how it would feel. And now I'm going to share that experience, and I'll talk a little bit about what I actually heard, and you can see what you actually can hear. The rest of the system, and this was a system, Jeff Joseph came, he sat and listened to it with me. My boss, John Atkinson, came and he sat and listened to it, and we all kind of agreed maybe a video would be a good thing here. Okay, the rest of the system, if you're a reader, you've probably known. We have my old Lin LP12 turntable. We have the new AMG Giro G9. And the main thing we'll be listening to today, besides files, is the Pass HPA1 preamp, which is sort of a steady piece in my system, and the Rogue RH5 preamp, which is also a steady piece. Mainly, we'll be listening to the Pass Labs XA25, which, as far as I can tell, is the most transparent amplifier I've ever heard. And strangely, it might be arguably, it's only 25 watts, but that's a conservative rating. When John tested it, he found it was putting out 80 watts at 8 ohms. And that's a 25 watt rated amp. And to this day, it just seems like arguably one of the greatest amps, and I'm an old man, that I've ever heard. Connected to these speakers, it's a pretty interesting combination. High level transparency. Listen for that. I'll be curious to see what you think and what comes across in this recording. What did I miss? Phonostage. Tavish design, tube phonostage, feeding, when we're playing the LP, we're listening through a Koetsu Rosewood Standard. Through literally, this is a 1984 Lin Sondek LP12 with a Valhalla power supply. Nothing fancy. Tone arm is a new SME M2-9. I use it a lot for reviewing cartridges because the head shell sits very firmly on the arm. It's not like those standard SME type ones. And it attaches to the arm well, but it also makes it easy to listen to 2 or 3 cartridges in a row without going to great lengths. You'd basically end up having to just change the little bit of adjustment on the alignment and then the tracking force. Otherwise, it's a 5-minute swap. That's about it for the system. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. The files will all be, the first one we're going to listen to is on a lot of my, it was my record to die for. I use it in a lot of reviews. It's Puente Celeste's Narma, and it's pure DSD. Never touched by PCM, never edited. Todd has this magic way of his recordings. Almost anyone would agree he is the greatest two-microphone recordist. He uses spaced omnis. Somehow he puts them always in the right place. Then he gets this sound, and listen for it today. It's always got a slight burnish to it. Just a really attractive burnish. It never, and this DSD it's the epitome of burnish. And I'm hoping that the combination of the Joseph speakers, the Puente Celeste, and the pure DSD comes through, and that you can hear what I heard. One last thing about this, I always wanted to share this kind of thing with the readers. I always said if the readers could just hear what I heard. In fact, I think I say that in some of my reviews. I wish you were here to hear this. That's why we're doing this recording, is so I wish you were here. Maybe you can be here. Thank you. Okay, we just finished a DSD file on Ardurvana, and now we're going to switch to LP. The Ardurvana was a MA recordings, and I'm using all MA recordings today. And I want to make it sort of clear that the reason we're doing this is this isn't an advert for MA recordings, but Todd's a friend, an old friend, and we're doing it to avoid copyright issues on YouTube. And so, but we're switching now from a file to LP. And the LP is really wonderful. It's called Transcending Continents and Memories. And it has a pretty amazing arrangement because it's like a medieval trio with a Chinese pipa. And it's called Medieval Europe Meets Traditional Chinese Meets Avant-Garde. And I always like avant-garde. It's a really exotic group of people. And that's what Todd Garfinkel specializes in. And this one's mastered by Bernie Grunman, the master, to Japanese-made MDC lacquers. And everything about this is as fine as it can get. So let me put it on, and we'll try out a little LP. And there's a reason I used the Lin LP12 for this session. And it allows me to change head shells. This SME M29 tone arm has detachable head shells, but they're not like the traditional SME ones. These things attach very solidly. And it has a different sound. It has a stainless steel arm tube, and it's actually quite good with a wide range of cartridges, so it allows me to make that transition. If I'm reviewing anything else, or just using a turntable as a reference, that's what the AMG does. It's my reference for a great sounding contemporary turntable, and I used it to kind of elevate my listening, to learn. Right now, that and the tone arm that's on it are kind of among the great things that I use. Not to mention it plays 45s, which I love. My LP12 does not play. It's a Valhalla. It does not play it does not play 45s. But so now we're switching to CDs. And this was actually the first recording I ever bought from Todd. I met him years ago, but I bought this at Rocky Mountain or one of the audio fests. And I bought it partly because of the cover. It's wild. I like exotic. And it's called Venus Square Mars, Music for the Deep Night. There's nothing I like more than the deep night. It's my favorite, and I write about it all the time. And again, it's a trio, but it features Hamza El-Din. And Hamza El-Din plays the oud and the tar. And he is the master of the oud and the tar. And he's the master of masters. And this is not New Age. This is the real deal. This is seriously beautiful music, and it's strong. I hope you enjoy it. Time for some fresh air. Let's go outside. Follow me. Don't forget your keys. We'll see what the March weather looks like today. We have a new chicken coop, which I'll show you. And then I want to ask you something. We just finished recording a bunch of LPs, CDs, files in my listening room, and they were in binaural, which theoretically, you're listening to this video on a headphone. But the question is, I was playing actually arguably the best system I've played in my home, in the bunker. And can you really hear that? You listen to things on YouTube, MP3, in reality, is that a reflection of what I heard? It's somewhat. Will you get the full reality of it? No, but you can use your imagination. I'm guessing that you should have been able to hear at least the difference between LP, CD, high-res file, DSD. These things might all show up. But it is an interesting question, and I don't know the answer to it. I watch YouTube all the time. I can hear the difference between various hi-fi systems. I can hear the difference in a quantitative way, but can I hear it in a qualitative way? I'm not sure personally that these binaural videos that we've been doing actually reflect the quality of what I heard. But they do reflect differences. I'm curious what you think. Anyhow, let's go check out the chubby chickens. Chubby chickens, are you awake? Hey, fellas. Oh no, we're sleeping. We're waiting for the vernal equinox. Hey, guys. I'm sad, the chickens are sleeping. But this is their new chicken coop. And this is the garden. I'm the vice president of this garden. I actually write a lot of, not so much in the winter. I write inside where you saw. I sit on that couch. But as soon as it gets warm, matter of weeks, I'll be out here with my laptop writing these stories that I tell in the magazine.